I thought you wait braced yourself.
Okay, call this meeting to order. First of all, just to let everybody know, this is gonna be run like a regular council meeting, so I don't want to hear a bunch of chatter from the crowd while we're discussing stuff as council members. If you have any questions, there's also an opportunity to speak at the end of the meeting. If you have any questions on any of the items, some of the items we may, if we have questions, we'd like to hear from, the audience here, then we may open it up. But other than that, we're going to run it like a normal council meeting, and if you have questions, make sure you keep them with you, so you can ask them all at the end. We'll try and, it's a little less formal than a normal council meeting, but at the same time, we still have to keep order, so we appreciate good behavior throughout the meeting. Okay, first up, adoption of the agenda. Gonna have a volunteer, Colin.
But the agenda of January 6, 2026, committee of the whole meeting be adopted as presented.
Secretary, okay. Any discussion? None, all in favor? Carried. Okay, adoption of minutes. None, delegations, none, unfinished business, none. So go to new business, 6.1. Committee of the whole meeting, so this is to decide as to when we should have these meetings. Anybody, any ideas? I personally, I'll just put it out on the floor, every 6 weeks. Anybody else have any other ideas?
I was thinking every 2 months.
Every 2 months, okay?
Yeah, I like the idea of every couple months.
Go ahead.
I was just looking at the council procedure bylaw and it currently states the first Tuesday of a month, currently.
Of every month.
Of
Because
every
it
month,
says the first Tuesday of the month, currently.
we can always make a motion to have it every 2 months, first Tuesday of, every second month. So after this meeting, it'll be February, so the next meeting would be the first Tuesday of March.
But isn't it the idea that with these meetings is to ask questions that with staff and stuff like that? I mean, every 2 months, or it might be too long in that, like once.
Well, you're open to make a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion to, what was your thing there, David? It was every Tuesday, it's the first Tuesday in every month. Is that what you were saying, David?
Well, you have to make that motion.
I would like to make the motion that we have a meeting every Tuesday of that month.
Of every month.
Of every month, yeah,
Second.
the first.
I'll second it, to go into discussion.
Okay, second. Seconder discussion?
My only discussion is was that every second Tuesday?
No, first Tuesday.
So every first. I don't know if that aligns right with our schedule, because I know. Well, maybe it does. I'm just looking at my calendar. Does anybody have a council calendar? Does that align with our council? Because if it does, that would be
Yeah, we don't have any meetings on the first Tuesday of every.
perfect. Okay.
Excuse me, Sean, last meeting said.
Excuse me, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Sean said last.
Doesn't matter.
meeting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Can I just have a question? Sure.
Yeah.
So we would meet earlier than our meeting, like than our regular council meeting on the day, because we have.
No, first Tuesday of every month.
Oh, the first Tuesday. Oh, no,
We don't
we're the
have any
second and the, yeah, we're the second.
Yeah.
Now. Sorry, I was thinking,
No, not before that.
yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
But it's good for discussion because we don't, if, let's say pros and cons, if we do it, we have it like that. If there is something we need to discuss, we don't have to have the meeting, right? Like for some reason.
Right.
If something can't, and there's nothing on the agenda, like this is committee of the whole, right? We're discussing pros and cons. And one of the good things is it gives everybody, I liked it when I was on council. Because it gives you a really good chance of chairing a meeting and being more involved in it. If we hold it more often, and we decide on a rotation, like the acting mayor or whatever, but it'll give everybody a good chance on, chairing a meeting and having more input too. You get a lot, like, from my experience, you get way more input when you get to chair a meeting, you meet with staff ahead of time and you discuss things and whatever. And all we're doing is, we just making recommendations now for
Yeah,
a meeting, is that?
yes, that's all we're doing.
Yeah, so just for discussion.
Just a meeting thing.
And they, like, it would be up to council, is it up to council discretion if we wish to cancel a meeting? Like, cause the one thing I don't wanna do is have meetings out of the sake of having meetings,
Yeah.
like kind of what you're saying, so like. You know, if we don't have an agenda like we do today, and you know, maybe we have one thing. Maybe that's something that could be suitable for a regular meeting, or, you know, instead of paying staff overtime and, you know, that type of stuff, but. Also, just on the schedule, it does show that the only regular council meeting that we do have on a Tuesday will be, November 3rd.
For the second.
It's a first one. It looks like we go back to back. I'm not sure if that might be the start of the new. Or not.
Oh, yeah, that's,
That's after election. Yeah.
that's after election, yeah.
So they might choose to switch all this.
Yeah, that might be for swearing in, yeah. All right, anything else? I'll put it to the vote.
This is for 6 weeks.
This is for the first Tuesday of every month. Was the motion. So I'll put it to the vote. All in favor? Good, carried. Next item. Recruitment of healthcare professionals. Council discussion. Well, we'll start off with Colin, maybe he's deals with the health society.
Well, I know they are busy and the doctors themselves are busy over there trying to recruit. I mean, the only thing the village really has is a sign that fell over up the end of town and the guys have fixed it, I'm sure. Yeah, you need a carrot or something, I guess, to bring somebody in. I don't know. I did suggest, but I mean, it all boils down to money. Is Third Avenue, if we built a house and got a doctor to live in it for a sign up for 5 years or something like that. Even leasing a vehicle for somebody that was living in Salmon Arm. It's just some suggestions that I had.
Yeah, I like your suggestions too. I think that the move that we made, with I think it was a rezoning or something like that down on Lake Shore was a great start. Definitely more of that. I would be interested to hear from the doctors and the nurse practitioners that are currently working in Chase, and maybe that looks like, maybe having a luncheon or something with them. They're obviously pretty busy folks, so, you know, it might have to be after hours, but, having them come up and meet with us and actually picking their brains. They truly are the experts. They do lead the recruitment for the most part, but I would be interested to hear how council could best support their efforts as well.
Right, I wonder if we could, if staff could get a hold of them and say, what can we do? You know, how can we help you to bring somebody in?
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because I mean, really, it's not up to us, but if we can help in some way through a community, you know, like Dan says, renting, rental or temporary permits or stuff like that, then we can do that, that's all we can really do.
Okay, and I did talk to Dr. Robinson. Right now, we're looking not too bad. I think we have 5 or 6 between medical practitioners and doctors that come in and out. Like Bernard is part-time, but he's still coming here on certain days of the week. The possibility, the house that you were talking about, when I was talking to Dr. Robinson, he's still looking at that idea for a different house. If it comes up, something to his liking. So that's still a possibility that he may carry through. But other than that, we're not bad. I have well, I'll share it. I have my own thoughts on why we have a waiting list, and some of it may have to do with interior health, the way they pay the doctors nowadays. From what I understand, it's like they get a flat rate, $500,000 a year. So when they brought that in, they probably had, you have to see a minimum number of patients. So some doctors are probably on, well, if I only have to see 15 a day, that's all I'll see. And that probably explains the reason when I go into the medical clinic, I'm the only person there. So, if that's happening, I don't know how many patients they have to, like under that contract, how many patients a day they have to see, but maybe we can find that out. If, that might be a thing we should know. That might be one of the causes for a waiting list. Yeah, other than that, I have no other information unless, staff has anything they came across. Nothing? Okay, this particular question, I'll just ask anybody in the gallery, has anybody heard anything about doctors in town? Sandra?
I saw one that was filling in or whatever, like a locum, and she loves it here, but she said there's no housing, and she's in a house that she has to vacate by March or something, she said, so she said if she can't find housing, she has to leave, but she loves it here, would love to stay, but there's no housing. She can't find any. And I'm sure she can afford some pretty hefty rent, she can't find anything suitable.
That's
And she-
one on Beach. She's renting the place on Beach for the winter, but
Oh,
the owners come back.
I didn't ask where she lived, but she was just saying that she loved it here, but there's no housing, and she's gonna have to go, and she was sad, but she will have to leave.
All right,
Maybe a question for council, maybe even staff, and maybe I should know this, but do we have any restrictions on? I guess like even like long-term Airbnbs? Because they're, like, I'm just trying to think out loud, I think the last time there's like 70 houses for sale here. And, I wonder about. Long-term rental or long-term or shorter term Airbnb, that type of thing. I just don't know off the top of my head what our policy or bylaw is on that.
Sean, you might have a.
Yeah, so are you referring, Counselor Stevens, are you referring to the duration of a stay for an individual?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's regulated, so it's
Okay.
30 days or less,
30 days or less.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay, is that about it? So we flogged that one up.
Yeah, sorry, I guess
Actu-
just one on that,
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's great.
From somebody online as well.
Oh, is there?
no, go ahead.
Sorry, I did have my hand up for quite a while. I actually have nurse practitioner Kelton Everett as my medical professional. I saw her for my annual checkup yesterday. She will be leaving us at the end of this month.
Yep.
She is going into Adams Lake Indian Band. And the reasoning that she gave me yesterday was that she no longer wishes to deal with Interior Health and all of their bureaucracy. So she told me point blank that with Interior Health, we are nothing more than numbers. And she doesn't want to treat numbers. She wants to treat people. And she said that's all Interior Health cares about is how many people that we can push through our system in a day. So that was verbatim from her, and we will lose her at the end of this month as she leaves and goes over to Adams Lake Indian Band, which we are not allowed to go to unless we are of Indigenous culture. So that's another one. I've had multiple doctors in the 25 years that I've been here. She has there's nothing on the radar right now for a replacement for her, she tells me.
Good, thank you. That's it?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention it, like, I wonder about increasing that 30 days or less. And, we have a ton of homes that aren't moving in Chase right now. I keep pretty steady eye on the real estate here, and like I say, we're up around 70. There's been homes for sale in this community now for over a year. Maybe 2 years ago, we didn't see that, but right now I feel like we do have an influx in homes for sale. That it could be an opportunity to to bring some more people in here for rentals.
All right, that's it.
Right? I sent a email this morning. There's a site, there's a gentleman in Nanaimo that's trying to get people from the States to come up, and you can sign up your village. I sent it in, there's that to look at.
Good.
And Kamloops and Kelowna for sure are two of the communities that signed up already.
All right. It's good. About it, I guess. Go on to the next item. 6.3 neighborhood golf carts, CEO to update.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, basically, I just wanted to bring this forward before staff does a whole bunch more work on this. So at UBCM, the mayor and Councillor Herman and I met with the conservative minister critic for the Ministry of Transportation and our MLA as well. And the premise of the meeting was to ask them to consider advocating to change the rules of our neighborhood golf cart program to allow people without driver's licenses to operate golf carts because they are speed restricted. So I just wanted to sort of get council's sort of idea of whether that's something we should go down that road to try and get them to advocate on our behalf for that. I'm thinking, and I don't want to lose the program. I don't want to jeopardize it by, asking too much or pushing too much, but at the same time, it's something that one of our citizens had asked us to bring up. So I just kind of wanted to share with all the council and see what all the council thinks.
I can clear that up real quick. If you're driving a motorized vehicle on a public road, you must have a driver's license. We're not going to change the Motor Vehicle Act for golf carts. And it doesn't only apply to golf carts, it applies to any, I found out it also applies to motor scooters, believe it or not.
Wait.
Yes, you have to have a driver's license if you're driving a motorized vehicle on the highway. And the roads in town are all considered highways, so no, that's not a possibility. You actually have to have a driver's license before they rent you a golf cart on the golf course. And nobody without a driver's license can drive that
On the golf course.
on the golf course.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, that's not a possibility. And
Very
I
unlikely.
wouldn't even consider that. Well, that clears that up. We're finished with that, right? Oh. Yeah.
So I wouldn't consider like without a driver's license, but my understanding was like maybe an enhanced driver's license kind of thing. So when you're aged out of your normal class 5, it would be a golf cart only driver's license. So you're only licensed to drive a golf cart. And this whole golf cart thing is it is something new, right? Like we have changed things. It was a pilot project. We changed a lot off the start when we brought it in. We started here and we went all over the place and it's worked. We haven't had one accident with the golf carts, so it never hurts to explore. Like even right now, we have people driving at nighttime, and the restrictions aren't. My understanding, you can't drive them in the dark.
Great.
We've come this far, 9 years or something safely. It might not hurt to just explore extensions. That the biggest one is seniors. They're keeping their cars, whereas they might just be happy enough having a golf cart, which is much safer and handier to drive and just to go off on a bit there. Meredith actually has the bylaws for all, I can't remember if it was motorized vehicles or whatever, but they license everything. The electric wheelchairs, everything they have, you have to have a little license plate. I think it's $20 a year. But it just, yeah, so there are ways of looking at maybe doing something.
Well, you still have to have a driver's license.
That's correct.
If you're not medically fit to drive a car, I certainly don't want to see that person driving a golf cart on the street either.
But yet they can drive a scooter on the sidewalk.
They can.
And off the sidewalk.
But there's no licensing requirements for
I
a
know.
scooter.
So the that's the thing that should be explored.
Yeah.
That if you can drive a scooter and you can drive a motorized, whatever that kid that drives around town that passes me when I'm on my golf cart, scooter, it's a scooter, I think, with a
Yeah.
motor on it that goes 50, you know.
Technically, he has to have a driver's license, he's probably not allowed.
That is not, I think it's, no, they don't have to yet. That is not, so that's another case of getting something in, you know, that they haven't caught up with. So why wouldn't we ask for some, like, just in town? I mean, you're not going on a highway.
Yeah.
So instead of maybe some senior having a oopsie doopsie scooter, he's got a decent golf cart that is a little bit more protective. I don't know. And maybe some speed restrictions and some just in the downtown corridor, so they could. It's worth I think it's worth asking. I mean, all they can say is no.
Yeah,
So-
and you'd have to go through ICBC as well, because they have to insure you.
Yeah.
And if you don't meet their conditions, they won't insure you.
Yeah.
So there's a
For-
whole bunch of, they
You
have
don't
to,
have to for golf.
yeah, you have to.
Well, yeah, you license it. Yeah, so same thing, but.
Yeah, so if you're not properly licensed and everything, they won't license the golf cart.
Yeah.
But,
And I apologize if I didn't explain the situation correctly. So what I'm hearing is that there might be a couple of council members that would be willing for us to explore advocacy on our behalf, just to have a different license for people who have golf carts. So they don't have to have a, class 5 driver's license, but they have a golf cart only in Chase driver's license, for example.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, yeah. And I actually, now that David or Mayor brought that up, I like the idea of licensing all motorized vehicles, the scooters, the whole bit, like. We should have it, even across the board, like, I don't know why I have to pay to drive my golf cart around town, but some. Kid can go flying around and not stop at stop signs and. Drive at night and all of that, so, those are things that,
Well, he's just
That might come up.
sneaking.
no, there's not just one.
I know, but he's sneaking, he's.
I know the one you mean, because I almost ran him over.
Yeah, but that's, asking questions might bring some
Yeah.
of those other things to light too, so I think it's just time that we do some explore.
Well, we can always get,
And ask some questions like this.
we can always get staff to look into it, because we want to check the ICBC side of it. So what are the requirements for ICBC to drive a golf cart?
So,
And same with the licensing of scooters, that would probably come under $5. So we can do that.
and registration of just scooters that, like, even senior scooters, like those that are around town, like, why wouldn't we be registering those too, so we know that. Yeah, that was. Yeah, so, worth exploring.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, so I had a couple of sort of things on the go. There's one when we were down at Victoria. We invited our MLA to come here. He's never ridden in a golf cart, so he's trying to explain to somebody without them actually riding in the golf cart. So, and he hasn't taken us up on that yet. And so there's an opportunity to actually, whoever does something, whoever's in charge of it, to actually get him to come here, ride around in a golf cart and just to see what how it works.
I just wanted to say one other thing. I think our town is a little bit different than most communities because we are very small and we don't have any, we have one major road through, so it's not like, I think it could be, we're small enough that we could make it work with some regulations and stuff, so I think we should look into something.
Well, with the regulations you were talking about, there's a lot of, especially elderly people, they got their scooters, they don't need any more. Hassle having to go and get it registered and stuff like that, I'm not. If it's easier for them, then so be it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you see, any need for people who are driving, elderly people that are driving scooters to have, testing for driving a scooter?
To test them?
Yeah.
No,
Or some kind of, like, anybody can drive one, right?
yeah.
I think that's okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I
Just
don't,
curious.
rural thing need to be, they can go straight, so be it.
Don't forget scooters are dealing with mobility issues.
Yes, oh,
Yeah.
I know, I totally understand. My mother has one.
And there was one old lady in that, she'd take her dog out, and the poor dog was trying to have a shit, and she just kept dragging it around.
Well, that would be Pat.
No, it was fun.
Lived down by, she used to work in the community hall, she used to.
Yeah. We don't
Yeah.
talk about it anymore.
All right.
Did she pass away?
Anything else?
Oh, so I did her.
Go ahead.
So I've had some discussions with the mayor of Merritt and that came up. Some of the issues, and one of the reasons they put the little license plate on is if somebody's supposed to be on the sidewalk with their machine and they're going down the road. You could go to the village office because they had a little plate and go, so you're actually helping somebody, or if somebody's roaring down the sidewalk at 80 whatever feet per second. It was just some way of, it'd be neat to look into just to see how they got to where they got to, or maybe other places got to. It was for the actual safety of the people operating these machines, because I know when my mom got her electric wheelchair, I couldn't even keep up with her. Had to keep getting her to slow down. You don't realize how fast you're going in one of those things, and so.
Okay, good. Okay, I think we clocked that one. Next item, 6.4, community outfit use agreement. Okay, it looks like maybe we can get the CEO to explain that one a little bit.
Sure, Mr. Chair. So basically, I think we raised this with council not too long ago, maybe at one of our other meetings, but basically, we'd like to implement, I don't know, Sean, do you have a copy of it handy there, or? Okay, so we'd we've drafted up a very basic community asset donation agreement. So what we'd like to propose is that when a community group like the Lions or Rotary or somebody donates something to us, like a piece of playground equipment or whatever, that we put it into an agreement that says the Village of Chase now accepts this donation. We will make sure we look after it. It is ours now, just so it's clean. The donation is recorded in our records, that kind of thing. Anything to add, Sean?
Okay, Dave?
I remember it being brought up at the capital tangible asset issue. And we looked at just numbers, maybe when someone donates something, they also have, it's sort of what we do with our park benches. When you're paying for the bench, I don't know the exact number, but you're actually paying for it to be maintained for another 20 years, not just for the cost of the bench today. And so because there is a cost every time something like that comes in, there's an added cost. So, what's reasonable? Do we ask for 20 years? When there's a donation, if that it's maintained by the group for 20 years, or is it 5 years? Well, there's a cost, and it's actually hitting every community because we get these donations, but it costs money to look after them. So, and the one example is the park benches. I remember when we brought that in, and then it's in perpetuity with your park bench as well. It's there and maintained.
Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I kind of like this idea, it can sit in an account, for whatever duration it might be, hopefully short, but accumulated a little bit of interest. In addition to an asset donation agreement, I would really like to see council move forward with a line item in our budget that puts money towards that maintenance and actually pay for the maintenance. So if we do get a donation, for example, the bathrooms, then we cover the maintenance. If we get a playground, we cover the maintenance, that type of thing. And even further than that, I would actually like to see maybe it's the same line item, but like an actual fund that we start accumulating, money towards, more amenities for this community. We do need some things in this community. We need a baseball diamond, pickleball's picking up. We need bathrooms in our parks, those types of things. And that can be a really big hit when we're like, we need something of substantial cost. But if we have a fund to actually draw from that accumulates over the years, it's not as big of a hit, so. That's all for me.
Anybody else?
I think what that thing is meaning is you donate something, washrooms, clocks or something like that. That's it. Don't come back in 2 years or something. We donated that. I think that's what that thing is meaning. And saying that we did this, why are you doing it? It's the villages, so. I think that's what that piece of paper is meaning.
Yeah, basically, once it's turned over to the village.
It's ours.
You're right, then it's ours, but then it goes into, under the public work maintenance program, if I'm not.
Yeah.
And then the money for maintaining that comes out of that budget. So anything within the community that donated and that hasn't been done, then that money would come out of the public works budget to maintain it, and it'd be a line item. Sean?
Oh, just real quick, so and then it sort of releases the group organization that donates the asset from any expectations.
Right.
Down the line, so the downtown clock as an example, we've spent thousands of dollars bringing in expert clock workers to fix it many times. It's still not functioning properly. So we don't have an obligation back to the original donator to keep fixing it to meet their satisfaction. If we want to put Walmart smiley faces on all 4 sides, that's council's decision. There shouldn't be an expectation to keep it in its original state. It's council's, the village's asset to do with what they want.
Right.
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah, I was kind of where I wanted, but there's sort of 2 things here. There's one, I don't know what the CAO is actually asking for, because there's the one where they divest themselves of all interest. And then
That's
there's,
one aspect for sure, but there's a lot of other aspects in this discussion.
so as in,
Well, there's, could we make agreements with them that if they want to donate X, they also donate certain funds, as has been talked about, to provide for maintenance and upgrades in the future? Or do we set up a fund that somehow we get donations for, or whatever, or it's tax funded, I don't know, to accumulate interest over the years so that we can maintain some of this stuff. But I don't know how that might work, but we can explore it. So that's something. Because you said there were 2 things. So one is donation's yours, do with what you want. The other thing.
the other one is the financial issues. Same thing that happened with our sewer lagoon. We got the $5 million grant, but now we were charging $200,000 a year. These are rough numbers for the sewer, and now we have to charge an extra $100,000 because we're obligated to put money away. And this is what's bankrupted a lot of, pretty well every community, or hurt us financially, is we're not putting money away to do the maintenance. And it does give you security, and a good example is the bench. Because now you kick in the money for the memorial bench, and it's there forever because the money's set aside to maintain it. It doesn't just get rotted away. And 30 years later, the relatives are asking what happened to it. And then you might even go somewhere farther with Councillor Stevens thinking, because there's the financial end of it, but then you're talking about your fund for other stuff. Because but maybe not. Like, this is what committee of the whole is for, is to explore things, right? Maybe, right, when that's donated, that money goes, there's a little bit of money that goes into this fund you're talking about.
Right.
Maybe, right, as we're just exploring all opportunities, right here, right?
Sure. Like an overall, like a maintenance / improvement fund.
All right. We pretty much plugged that one too. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Roundabout design. Now to discuss treatment options for a roundabout.
That thing down there,
Yeah,
what's there to discuss?
well, I think one of the things that came up before is, if there's, I believe if there's anything we're putting in the middle of the roundabout, such as, well, you don't want to put a tree, because then you start having visibility issues. Well, it comes into traffic safety, but, any design or anything in there that anybody has any idea?
Do we have what's the rough budget for that?
Sean, do you know what the budget is for the designer, Mike?
Yeah, we're carrying $10,000 for
I
design.
don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. If I may just add to that, so so your management team has discussed this and wanted to bring it forward for council to sort of hear what we had discussed, but we were thinking, does council want to hire somebody to do a design? Do we want to do collaboration with our First Nations neighbors? Because now it's the main entrance to our community, so maybe we want to get some input from the Indigenous communities in our area. Because we have had in the past requests to put either signage saying, Adams Lake Indian Band that away and, or whatever. But it's something that we talked about amongst us, that we wanted to kind of have some ideas from council as to, do we want to do something fancy, which requires maintenance? Do we want to do something that's zero scaping? Do we want to put signage? And do we want to involve our community members, even, our community members?
Yeah, I like the idea of some public submission. I would also like to work with the chamber on that. They've been doing quite a bit of rebranding in the community over the last year or two. They've done some really good things. They've aligned, a lot of the colors and things like that with the wharf and whatnot. I think it looks really good, but yeah, I think I would like to see it consistent. So like a consistent brand around the community. So whatever that might look like. I would like some public submission, maybe a public jot form or something around those lines where we have a deadline and then we can take all that feedback under consideration. And then I would also like to hear something a little more formal from the chamber or even together, Chase.
Sean? You had your
I
hand?
was just really quickly gonna add that the roundabout island has been serviced with both water and electricity.
Okay.
So for future options.
Yeah, there was a question earlier for the maintenance, and I probably already know the answer because it's within the village, so it would be our maintenance issue. So that answers your question, I think you had.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, I agree with Councillor Stevens. I think definitely we should get some community input. But I also am of the opinion it has to be, I like the zero landscaping or something easy to look after. Not something that we have to have, do a lot of trimming and cleaning and, whatnot all the time. So, just to take less work for our public works, because it's an awkward spot to be having trucks and things in there for pruning and
Yeah,
planting and stuff like that.
yeah, one of the things we have to consider is because it's a traffic island. So you can't do anything to restrict visibility, so you can't put a great big tree in those.
Yeah, but you can put a big sculpture, go and. look
A
at-
sculpture, yeah, you can put something like that
You
with
can,
reasonable
like-
size, not big.
Just Google, I Googled roundabouts the
Yeah.
other day, yesterday. and
Yeah,
there's
or
some
even,
pretty crazy ones that
even,
can't-
you can also, because you're coming in that direction off the highway, you could put a welcome to Chase sign
Yeah,
of
exactly,
some sort.
Yeah, yeah.
Of a design.
Exactly, definitely.
And then put it out on Facebook for the public to put in suggestions.
Yeah, no, I agree totally.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to pick up on what Councillor Torban just said, I see a lot of towns, they just keep it simple, they just go, welcome to Salmon Arm. Like it's not $10,000 to plan, blah, 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 it's just welcome to Chase. It's just simple, cheap. If we're spending 10,000 on a design, now we're gonna we have to think. Is it gonna be 50,000 to put something in there, or is just a welcome to Chase, 2 languages?
No, I don't think,
Something.
something like this, I don't think we need to hire a designer because they're not gonna offer us anything at the end of the day, we still have to make a decision as council. So Snyder's not gonna help us in this situation. All right. Next one, 6.6, Truth and Reconciliation Event, 2026. Council may discuss event management of this event. So maybe we'll have the CEO. Sure. Just give us a.
Hello, Mr. and council members. So we're bringing this forward because, well, it's now January. Truth and Reconciliation Day is in September. At the at the 2025 Truth and Reconciliation event, which was actually hosted at Adams Lake Indian Band. It's really well attended, by the way. There was a march up and down Shuswap Avenue and barbecue and some speeches and some activities for the kids and that sort of thing. Twice at that event, Chief Lynn Duck Chief mentioned that she would like to see, or invited, sort of almost formally invited the Village of Chase to host the event in 2026. So we wanted to get council's thoughts on what do you think about that? What that might look like? And I think the mayor has some ideas too, or some thoughts, because he was talking to the mayor of Sun Peaks at that event, excuse me, maybe later, I don't know. But yeah, it's just something we need to decide whether we're gonna do it, and if we're gonna do it, what are we gonna do? And do we want to work with groups, volunteers, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of hosting it. I think it would be really special to kind of go back and forth and like alternating years. I don't want to speak for the band's ideas, or the chief, but, yeah, I think it would be really important. Like we're in a unique area where we have 3 local bands around us and we have Chase, and we're neighbors in every situation that comes our way. And I think it would be really important to show our collaboration and, we're neighbors, and I would, treat my neighbor on my street the same way. And, yeah, I think it's a great idea. I really like the idea of Chase hosting it. I also like the idea of partnering with some of the, NGOs or non-government organizations to support this as well, Chase and Family Action Society and those types of groups. I think the events are great. I mean, I went to the one last year. It was just a great get together. It was positive. Everybody got together and for what the day was actually for, which was Truth and Reconciliation. It's one day where we get to reflect on that. I think it's actually quite important.
I'd just like to say, I totally agree. I'm totally in favor of hosting it. I'm wondering about now, since we were on it early, maybe there's some grants out there that we could get some money towards it, so it's not all on us. I would hope that we're striking with input from the 3 bands as well, so it's not us, leading it. Like we need to know what kind of things they'd like to do. I think it might be a really good thing to bring on the Together Chase meeting to see who is interested in from different groups and doing different parts of getting as many people collaborating on it in the community as we possibly can would be probably the best way to do it. So it's not all on the village. And sort of spearhead the organizing and put it out to everyone else and get some help with it. So I think it's a great idea. And I want to hear about Sun Peaks.
Right.
Okay. It was kind of interesting because as I was walking away, the chief mentioned that she would like us to take the lead this year. Right away, the mayor of Sun Peaks came up to me immediately. He said, "And I'd like to be part of it if you'd be okay with that." And I thought, wow, what a great step from him just to take that lead. I casually mentioned it to the mayor of Salmon Arm, and he just, what would be the involvement? And my understanding, the chief from Adams Lake said she would assist us in the issues. So I'm thinking along the lines of kind of what I'm hearing, but maybe maybe the village, something like the village is interested. The letter goes to Adams Lake, but it CCs all three Chiquetin communities. And maybe the three Salmon Arm and Sun Peaks as well, and just see where it goes. And, you know, and also with these committees as well, but at least we contact the group of five and we're interested, what?
Oh, I'll just add to that. The problem with us taking the lead, in my mind, is that, okay, we don't know what the bands want or need, right? Like, for me, it's better because they have a good idea of what they want to do. Like, we can host it, but it has, in my mind, it's better to do it in collaboration with the bands. And because the bands, they have certain customs and shit that they have to do. So they need, and we don't know what that is necessarily. I don't, that's for sure. So I would still like to see the lead kept with them, but we can still act as a host, but they can still take the lead. So that everything that they want included can be included, because if we take the lead and we don't include something, then we're gonna struggle.
Well, that's the whole idea of getting together and collaborating with them, so we decide amongst us who's going to do what jobs and, but I think the whole premise from listening to, Chief talking that day was they really wanted someone to take the lead other than them. It is Truth and Reconciliation. We should be honoring that and taking more of a step to do more things. So I think as a group, I think we can pull it off, but for sure we have to ask them for their traditions and the things that they need to do, help figure out what the schedule will look like and what parts they'll take part in, and what parts we'll do. So I think that'll work.
Like that.
Okay. What about the cost?
Yeah.
They're gonna share?
I don't know. That's what we'll find out.
Yeah,
when we
ask them if they're gonna put in some money.
Yeah, we'd have to have.
You gotta make the first step.
We'd have to bring that up at those meetings with the bands as to how the cost is going to be shared. I think, and that's gonna be a big thing. That's where we'll have, when that happens, we'll figure that out. All right. So that's it, and we move on to item number 8. Now, if anybody has any questions, this is the time to bring it up, and we'll just keep a little bit of order. We'll give each about 3 minutes to bring up the question, and if we can answer it at this time, do our best. If not, we'll bring the information forward at different times. So anybody that has something to say, okay, Chair, Bill? Okay. Anybody else? So it's 3. Okay, so Bill, go.
I was wondering, how can residents get some questions onto the agenda for the next meeting?
How?
Yes, or can we?
Those questions, Bill, can, when it's for the public opportunity to speak, that's when you bring up those questions. If you have other questions, you can come talk to somebody at the village office.
Yeah.
But if we start doing that at a regular council meeting, it just gets carried away.
Anyways, I was talking to Sean and I was just saying it was good information and everything. Sometimes it's nice when everybody's in the room, you get different things. For example, with the nursing situation, from the floor came some ideas that wasn't available up. I was also, it was sadly kind of funny because about the roundabouts, you're asking for the community's ideas and the community is here and you didn't ask. I was wondering, you've got the signs stored past A&W that says Chase, cost us, we've already paid for them. You have to slow down to 20 kilometers to see them. Why can't we take them and put some of those in the roundabout? When you're driving into, coming into Chase, you don't have to look straight ahead. You just have to look to your left. So, and they are, you can see through them. And if I'm coming into Chase, everybody coming at me are either gonna go east or west on the highway. They're not gonna come back, turn back into Chase. So we've got stuff right here. We paid for them. They're, pardon me, they're useless because you can't see them. They look good. Why can't we put those in the roundabout and save some money?
Good idea, but. Okay, that's, we can consider that. That's
Yes.
one suggestion.
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of asking, it is kind of nice that maybe we can ask, you know, like council meetings, we can ask something about the agenda. Because here you guys have discussed everything about it, and then I just bring in the sign, it's already been finished with. We can't really carry on this conversation. So that's why I'm just kind of saying it is kind of nice to throw out some of these to the community. Because we're taking our time to be here because we're interested. It's kind of sad that there's only less than 10 here.
Cause it's at 4.
Yeah, so
No, right. Okay, next,
okay, it's just nice to be able to, if we have a question, you guys can decide if it goes on the agenda, but do we send it to Joni or what?
yeah, you can send it to Joni.
Sorry, Joni.
Well, it's okay.
It's okay, if it's an item for the agenda, a specific item that deals with something in the community.
Yeah.
It can go on the agenda for discussion. But if it's just a general question.
Yeah.
Probably not. Right,
Oh, exactly.
okay, Karen,
Karen Bassett, 564 Lakeshore Drive. I just I thought I was on the same page with Bill, but Councillor Stevens had brought up the committee of the whole meeting on the first Tuesday of the month, and whether or not there may be items that people want to speak to. I thought that's what Bill was referring to. So if there's nobody that actually wants to speak at that, that's where I thought maybe we should submit our questions prior to that community of the whole, because maybe there's nobody that has anything that needs to be addressed. I don't know.
that would be a good idea, if there is an item for the community. Probably this as a committee of the whole, that would be a good time to bring some of those items up.
Yeah, because Dan said otherwise you could be here and nobody will come. It seems kind of redundant. I don't know. That was just one question I had. And again, would we send it to Joni? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, I wanted to go back and touch on the golf carts and the unlicensed proponent that you were considering. Most people that don't have a driver's license don't have a driver's license for a reason. So I think, just my opinion, that's absolutely asinine to create a system. We already have a lot of trouble with these golf carts, in my opinion. They always drive after dark. I've called the cops on, I don't know how many people, including the bylaw officer. The cops tell me that only the bylaw officer can address that, which again, makes no sense. So is there a way of, if we're going to create new rules for golf carts, can we create rules where the police can actually pull them over? Because having one bylaw officer to address 50 golf carts in this town, and I don't even know if he actually has the authority or the autonomy to pull somebody over.
Probably not.
Probably not. But according to our bylaws, only the bylaw officer, because we're the only place that has golf carts. So only the bylaw officer can actually enforce the law upon them. And lots of times we don't even have a bylaw officer. We're in between or this, that, or the other. So I don't know. The cops say that if the bylaw dictated it to them, then they would be able to enforce it, but our bylaw does not dictate it to them. So if we're going to change bylaws about golf carts, that better be number one, because there's little kids that ride on them, there's dogs that ride on them, and they don't follow the rules.
Okay, first of all, if they're breaking the law, they're gonna break the law. That is an enforcement issue, but the golf carts at night, do we have a bylaw for that?
Sure do. Yes, it says.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
yes, you have to.
so-
Dawn to dusk is what it says.
Dawn to dusk, so
Yeah.
if somebody's gonna break the law, it's like anything else, it's an enforcement issue.
Mhm.
The bylaws are already there. If you don't abide, it's like It's like if you drive to Kamloops and the speed limit is 90 and you're driving 110, it's the same thing. You choose to break the law.
I understand that.
So,
But the
so
police
it's
are
not,
at-
it's not something that, that the only way to deal with it, if we have some kind of way of enforcement, and we don't have a full-time bylaw officer, so it's very difficult to enforce.
That's
And we
my point.
certainly wouldn't have one at night. But having said that, we can have discussion with the police as far as enforcing village bylaws, because in some cases, and I know this because I've enforced municipal bylaws before in other towns, police are able to enforce municipal bylaws as long as what happens is the police take municipal bylaw tickets.
Mhm.
And, no, you put your hand up. And then they issue those tickets. So there is a way, but I would have to have, which I will have discussions with the sergeant here and see if they have any interest in doing.
They don't do any traffic enforcement as it is.
Okay, that's not a thing
Yeah,
that we need
no.
to discuss.
But I
Okay.
did speak to Sergeant Kennedy about it, and that's basically,
So
he
they
said
don't-
that it would have to come through council for that enforcement, for example, because the police are at Music on the Lake. And so there'll be, 2-3 golf carts there that leave music on the lake. The police are already there checking for alcohol. So,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
they tell me it has to come from mayor and council.
Yes,
So if we're going to look at changing things, that is one thing I would like to see changes made to that. And the last thing is the Truth and Reconciliation. I don't think the village should be funding that. I mean, I understand the concept of the reconciliation, but, and I don't mean to sound prejudiced in any way, shape, I don't want it to reflect that way, but I mean, our taxpayer money, they don't pay taxes. So to spend our taxpayer money on that, I really have a hard time with. And I just think that that is something that we should collaborate on and maybe participate in, but not spend taxpayers' money on. I think that is not appropriate.
okay, thanks for your opinions.
Something
James?
up on the board.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'll do with them later.
Yeah, there are a couple of things. First of all, kudos for initiating this committee of the whole meeting. I think this is a welcome change. I know from running meetings in my past that when you're bound by Robert's Rules of Orders, things can get pretty bound up and then things not get done. And a lot of things that need to be said don't get said. So I appreciate that. I had a question about that though. Perhaps you can answer it, Joan. Can council move into a committee of the whole by motion at any time?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I'd have to check a procedure bylaw, Sean. I don't think they can. I don't think they can, but we'll check the procedure
Okay,
bylaw.
it was
Yeah,
just something that.
yeah, good question.
Okay, and the other thing was to do with the speed limit on Chase Street, and I brought this up at council before, and I know Mr. Corval has responded to it. I still see seniors coming out of Parkside, wheeling out onto the road, and it's not a safe situation. And I think that restricting the speed limit, say from Sycamore Street through to Thompson Street, would make things a little safer for some of the seniors.
I'll say the same thing I said last time. Unless you have any data to back up your statement, really, we're not going to take action on one person's opinion. You need that, like, I've dealt with this stuff before, and if there's no data to show that it's unsafe, other than your say-so, then that's what you need to bring forward. You need to bring some data. Or, if you have a petition, maybe we can look at it. But just saying, like, I can tell you right now that I have a hard time getting up to 50 kilometers on that street from that intersection because of the stop signs on either end. It's hard to get up to that speed. I've lived here a lot longer than you. I've never seen an unsafe situation there.
with due respect to Mr. Farbon, I live right there. And I see the people who accelerate from down at the clinic and up past me, I don't know, maybe. they've had a
Accelerated to
bad
what,
experience
30
down there.
kilometers an hour?
You would be surprised.
Anyways, no, unless you have some data to back it up, it's not gonna happen.
I-
Anyways, next, we're good.
I would say, I would just say that perhaps it's incumbent upon the village to do some research in that regard. Since it's a safety issue.
Well, actually, I've done research when I was working there and no, there's no problem there. Gotta have data.
You have the data?
Undo the data.
Well, no, you gotta get the data from ICBC and depending on what kind of data you're looking for, or you have to do the surveys yourself.
And
Have you done a survey there yet?
no, and I'm asking the village to do it.
Well, we don't see an issue there.
You don't see an issue there. I haven't heard from the rest of the council.
Yeah. Anyways, good, thanks. Sean?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, in a minute. Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to return to the golf cart item really quickly and clarify something. So the bylaw that Chase has for golf carts is meaningless. I mean, except for the requirements that we have to have a permit. Everything else in our neighborhood golf cart bylaw is a mirror of the Motor Vehicle Act. All the regulations for driving a golf cart in Chase, including the dawn to dusk, the speed limit, the passengers, the safety mechanisms, is regulated in the Motor Vehicle Act and only enforced by the RC.
There you go. That answers the question. Thanks for that. Okay, we got somebody up on.
The fact that the RCMP don't want to enforce is not under our control.
Up on somebody up there had a question. Steve.
No, yeah.
Steve, you're on mute.
Have to speak. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm curious as to why we can't drive our carts at night when we have to have headlights and turn signals and brake lights like every other vehicle.
Well, I don't know if you heard our corporate officers said it comes under the Motor Vehicle Act.
For carts, like,
Golf carts, yes.
it comes, golf carts, really, that's motor vehicle, even though they're just like a motorcycle has a headlight, a tail light, turn signals, they can go on the road, but a golf cart can't.
Yeah, it's just a rule under the Motor Vehicle Act.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, I guess that's it. Nobody else is done? Oh, Pete, go ahead.
Peter Van Hook, 230 Amarillo. In regards to the roundabout,
Yes.
I would sooner see some wildflowers there, because I'm a wildflower guy and I like to see all the boulevard wildflowers and save the city a ton of money on cutting grass and whatnot. But the $10,000 that you save by doing that, you can put a toilet in at Wilson Park. And the reason I say that is because at Wilson Park, we have 4 beautiful horseshoe pitches that the Legion was so generously helped clean up 2 years ago. Nobody plays there because only old people play, well, maybe not, but old people like to play horseshoes and they can't because they have to walk. You're gonna throw your horseshoe and then, oh, excuse me, I gotta go to the washroom, so they gotta go home. Or they have to go to the museum where that toilet is going. That ain't gonna work. But if you had one there, more people would participate. More people would know that Wilson Park is there because they'll use it. And if you had a few benches there, people could come play checkers or chess or just enjoy a Sunday afternoon.
So basically, as a general rule, any place where you have a sport or activity where people need to stay there, we should have a washroom there.
Yes, absolutely.
As a general rule.
Absolutely.
That's usually what happens. Well, we do at like Memorial Park, we do by the swimming pool there. So, yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. Go ahead.
Kelly Proctor, 222 Elmer Road. Can we, speaking of traffic in town, Can we not get the RCMP to do a little bit more traffic enforcement in town? People drive like idiots in this town.
Yeah, we can ask.
I have never seen them do any speed enforcement or stop sign enforcement or anything in this town. And I've been here 8 years and it's horrible.
Okay, like I'll tell you the best way to go with that is to actually phone the police.
I have many times.
And then it'll become a file. And they have to act on that file to be able to include it.
I have done it many times. One of the worst offenders is one of the officers' wives.
Oh.
Oh my.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like Elmer Road is a racetrack half the time.
Yeah.
And there's never enforcement. And I've gone to the detachment. I know Staff Sergeant Kennedy well as well.
Yeah.
And I talked to them. And it just seems like they don't want to do any enforcement in this town for traffic.
But
They only do calls.
There's no longer a Staff Sergeant Kennedy here.
Well, he's a staff sergeant, still looks after this detachment, so,
Sergeant Newport.
yes, but I talked to Staff Sergeant Kennedy.
Okay, yeah, that's only my suggestion is report it.
I've
You
done
see a
that.
traffic, see a traffic incident, report it.
I've done that lots, and I would think that the village would have a little bit of say in, can you guys do some more traffic enforcement in our town?
I can ask them if they would do that. Yes. Okay, yes.
Can golf carts go to the end of VLA?
And what?
Golf carts go to the end of VLA? That's technically not Chase.
No, within the city limits.
Oh,
You better walk that 10 feet.
no, but they're down there all the time.
Yes,
Yeah, just to kind of go on further with what Karen was saying, I think it's just Adrian Matheson, 28 Beach Crescent. Like we're all experienced arbitrarily, we're getting a 3% interest in our taxes, we've just got that bonus thrown at us. We've put out a fair amount this year, for the Indigenous, like we've got this great big sign. I don't think anybody really knows what it cost us. But I do think if the village is wanting to host the Truth and Reconciliation, there ought to be a budget, and it ought to be kind of made available to the village to see if they want to put out that money. Because money is pretty tight in this town. And to be spending a lot of money on Truth and Reconciliation might not be the wisest choice. So that's my 2 cents.
The roundabout, can I make a suggestion?
what was that?
A Big Rock Nookshook.
Yes.
Okay, Steve, do you want to give us your full name and address, please?
Steve Carty, Carty.
Okay, this will be the last question of the day. Okay, Steve, go ahead.
No, I was just a suggestion for the roundabout, a Big Rock Nookshook, low maintenance, native idea.
Good idea. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody from council have anything to add? Oh, no. Go ahead.
I think this went very well for the first time. It's kind of chunky. I'd like to thank staff for putting something together, as Councilor Torban asked at the last meeting if we could even do this, and this is quite a leap to, just so everybody knows, it was very chunky for all of us to try to do this, but I think it's good because we haven't made any decisions as mentioned to the public, right? So it does give everybody a chance. We all had input and discussion, and no decisions have been made at this time. So I just like to thank staff and everybody and Councilor Torban for chairing the meeting.
Good job. Good. Thank you. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Jane, call in second. All in favor? Good, done. Thank you. Thanks.